And special guests on my show is the K
to the S to the O-L-O. And me, the capital D, the O to C.
Alrighty, this is Josh Rubin from East West Healing and Performance. Today I want to talk to you about what's called ELDOA. It's actually a French acronym, and it's a technique that was born out of the work of Voyer, an osteopath up in Canada and France. In English, the acronym is LOAS, Longitudinal, Osteo-Articular Decoaptation. And basically what you're doing is this ELDOA technique for almost every joint in the body, in the spine, I should actually rephrase that. What I want to show to you today is basically the L4-L5 decompression. So there's ELDOA techniques for the atlas, the axis, all the way down the spine for L4, L5, L5S1, T7, T8, T8, T9. There's movements for each of the vertebrae. You can see at the beginning of the YouTube clip all the great things these movements do for your clients, from decompressing the space, to increasing nutrients inhibition, to increasing venous return, to increasing proprioception, to normalizing specific organs and fascia, to normalizing respiratory mechanisms. So it does so many different things besides just decompress the joint. So through his work and understanding the anatomy of the body, putting the body in these specific movements actually stretches the fascia above and fascia below, which creates that decoaptation of the joint. So the importance of doing this is not only understanding it, but the technique has to be so refined. So when you do this and you teach it to your clients, you need to do it with them and make sure they're getting each and every part correct, because if one part isn't correct, you're not going to get the technique or the decoaptation properly. So the first thing is you want to have the client sit up straight. Now you might have to change this depending on the client. They might have to sit against the wall because that may be too kyphotic and they can't sit up straight. So you might have to adapt this technique per the client you're working with. So I'll just name out the key points. The key points is you want the knees flexed to 90 degrees. The heels should be right in line with the pelvis. You want the feet in eversion, which is like a pronation. So if you look at my foot, that's normal. That's like an inversion. That's an eversion. So you want to actually decrease your arch and put it in eversion. So knees at 90, heels in alignment with the pubis. Evert the feet. When you do that, the toes will actually come towards the shin and you close down the arch. You want to make sure during this entire movement that you're driving all these movements that I'm mentioning. You want to drive the knees towards the ground, keeping the feet in inversion. You want to keep the chest up, flatten the lumbar spine, flatten the thoracic spine, bringing it to neutral. You want to keep the head neutral by tucking the chin slightly. As you're in this position, you want to try to press the coccyx into the floor and raise the occiput towards the ceiling. You want to extend the arms overhead, reaching for the ceiling. You want to reach through the palms and put your hands in extension. Then you want to rotate your arms into external rotation. So as I'm in this position, I'm looking straight ahead and I'm breathing, which creates the decoaptation. But I'm driving my foot in eversion, driving my knees to the ground, driving my coccyx to the ground, flattening my thoracic and lumbar spine, driving my occiput to the ceiling, reaching my hands to the ceiling and keeping them shoulder width apart, wrist in extension and external rotation. Drive all these points as you breathe for 20 to 30 seconds. So what you're doing is you're creating a decompression or decoaptation at L4-L5. L4-L5 is the primary site, according to research, where most people have compression or degeneration from respiratory dysfunction, poor posture, things like that. It's a primary site where people get disc derangement. So it's a great way to decompress or decoaptate L4-L5. So this is an ELDOA technique for L4-L5. So the key points are knees at 90, heels in alignment with the pubis, evert the feet, drive the knees to the ground, coccyx to the ground, flatten the lumbar spine, flatten the thoracic spine, keep the spine straight, hand neutral, drive the occiput to the ceiling, coccyx to the ground. Arms go overhead, reach for the ceiling through the palms. Wrists in extension, drive them in external rotation. So I'm reaching for the ceiling as I'm driving my lower body towards the ground. And that creates, but if you Google his name, you can find a lot of information on him. He's got a school in Canada. He's got some great contributions in some great books on Amazon, so check him out. Hopefully you learned something, and we'll check you later.